Peace. Knicks and bruises, we are back. Your black is time. Queen, thank you for joining me as always.
Of course, always a pleasure.
Likewise. Today I want to talk about Obi Toppin sitting down with D Wade and a couple of young up and coming rising stars in the NBA and WNBA. Some of the topics they talked about. The main topic honestly was D Wade asked Obi and the panel, what do they think about players, former players critiquing NBA stars and their game and things of
hmm
that nature, as opposed to just the media in general.
hmm
And I forget the young lady's name who was on there, but she said, she kind of prefers it from the players because they have
Okay.
a different aspect. They know what they're talking about. They kind of they welcome it
hmm
from players because it's kind of critiquing their game, telling them what they need to work on and get better at, as opposed to normal media
hmm
who probably never been in a position of playing professional, maybe not even college, and they're speaking, I would say, more from a fan aspect than a former player or athlete's perspective.
Right.
and and what Obi said, which kind of stood out, was you know he welcomes it as well from the players, but more importantly, it's about the team, internal, his teammates, and how they kind of block that out and know that the teammates, the coaches, the
hmm
guys that are there with you every day, those are the guys that it's most important from
hmm
the critiquing. I thought that was a great answer. Let me apologize though for the chat. I attempted to, get the video up here and upload it so you guys could see it along with
hmm
us. But I'm still novice and I'm learning. So, bear with me. Appreciate you guys joining always though. But what are your thoughts on what Obi said, what the young lady said, and just in general, the media critiquing fans? It's definitely changed over the years
Right.
from watching it 10 years ago to some of the things that media is allowed to say or says without any backlash.
Right. I mean, that's their job. As far as the media is concerned, that's what they're hired to do. A lot of the media, though, are former players, former coaches. Like when you look at TNT with Charles Barkley and
Hmm.
Shaq and Kenny, that's not always the case, though. Um, and we do it as well as content creators. And I think that's why it's very different than it's been in the past. You could just
Hmm.
start a YouTube channel and start talking about the Knicks or anybody you want, you want to. And if you've been in the rooms, in these chat rooms, it can get heavy, in terms of criticism and praise, for a player. But I agree. I want to get her name. She's a WNBA player
Hmm.
who said that, basically she can respect it more coming, from somebody who played it and who understands it, because it is true. Like even us, when we talking to people, like, I'm not sure if this person, you don't even have to play basketball, has ever played organized sports before. Like some of the things that you hear. So I'm sure if you're a player and you're out there and you're giving it everything you have, to be critiqued by somebody who's never played the game and doesn't seem to even have a good understanding of it, that can definitely be frustrating. But I will say most of those in the media, even if they haven't played, maybe once and twice over the years, I've had like a reaction like, wow, I don't know if this person has ever played organized ball. But for the most part, they've covered it enough that I haven't really seen anything outlandish. I may disagree with it, but it's not like, wow, like, what are you even talking about?
I hear you. I hear you. Halliburton had a good take as well, and he said same thing. He respects it from the players a lot more, but what he said about the players is a lot of times these guys have been in situations and know about behind the curtain and still tend to maybe go overboard
Hmm.
or not use that insight that they have that some of the regular
That's
beat
a good
writers,
point.
fans, and bloggers have, and kind of maybe it's for clickbait. Now that that is their job.
Hmm.
I'm adding the clickbait thing is, but referring to what you said, it's their
Hmm.
job. You know,
Right.
maybe that. Now they have to add a little clickbait or be a little spicy in their takes to draw viewers and things of that nature.
That's another
All
thing about how things have changed, right? You got to get those
yes,
clicks as well.
all in all, it was really just a 12-minute video. I think my edit was only about less than 2 minutes,
Hmm.
but I was just trying to take little bits and pieces out of what they said to get some insight. But all in all, if you find a video, it's a good quick watch.
Hmm.
I recommend it. Um, in other news, last week I talked about Kai Soto
Hmm.
as one of my sleeper picks for the second round. And as I was scrolling through the Knicks blogs today, I seen the Knicks will work out buzzworthy 7'3" Filipino draft prospect Kai Soto.
Hmm.
So I'm not taking any credit, obviously, but I'm glad that at the very least I saw a guy. I like what I saw, and it looks like the Knicks are gonna they're gonna go look into him as well. I don't know if you got any more information on him. I'm gonna read a couple of things
I don't.
off this website. It says Soto, who recently turned 20 years old, played for the Adelaide 36ers of Australia, the NBL, and will be working out for the Knicks this week. So we could definitely look into how that turns out. Any insight we get from the Knicks outlets. But 7'3" guy played in the NBL. I believe that's the same league as LaMelo and Giddy. So we've seen some talented guys come out of there.
Hmm.
It's not the greatest league, but it's grown men, so it's a lot
Hmm.
different from the college outlook. From what I've seen from this guy, I really like him. They say size, intangibles, potential as a shooter are very intriguing for this prospect. They predict him as a stretch five. I think that's something that we all talked about. We need some aspect of the Knicks that we haven't seen
Hmm.
recently.
Hmm.
So and then I mean, I've been hearing his draft stock is rising, so I don't even know if he's going to be a second round pick at this point. But if that's somebody that we could grab up in the second round, I think I prefer to go big in the second round than in the first round per se. Um, what are your thoughts on that?
I
Um,
mean, I don't know him that well. Looking at the mock drafts, though, I didn't see him. I didn't. Well, I shouldn't say that. I didn't look at a lot of the second round drafts. I looked at about 14, 15 first round drafts. He's definitely not a first round pick. But the few second round drafts that I saw, he wasn't on the board. But
mm,
like we know, things change quickly, and players rise and fall on the draft board all the time up until the draft, which is 4 weeks away. So he may, like you said, be climbing up boards and go from undrafted status, and then the next thing you know, second round status. The Knicks pick 42nd, I believe.
yeah, so that's
Um,
about
so if he doesn't go in the top 10 picks, they should be okay.
yeah. I hope so. And then even if he's not projected to be drafted, the fact that they're looking at him, I think that bodes well that you may not take a chance that he goes undrafted, and,
Right.
and you pick him up, as high as 42nd, as opposed to
Mhm.
hoping he's a guy that doesn't get picked up afterwards and try to grab him. Sherwin, shout out to Sherwin in the chat, 7'3" with a 7'5" wingspan. Like I said, he could handle the ball, put the ball on the floor. Somewhat of a project, but the skills that he has, we don't have a guy at that size or
Of
even at the
course.
center
Yeah.
position
Yeah.
that can do those things, shoot the ball. Compared to Chris Porzingis, I've seen. Um, Also compared to the young guy on OKC. Um,
Hmm.
I forgot. I don't know how to say his name. I'll be butchering it if I try.
Puku,
Yeah, that's the
Poku.
guy. That's the
Yeah.
guy. That's the guy. My cat is all over me. But yeah, in general, of pick going big in the first or in the second. What are your thoughts on that? Um, do you,
The, oh, sorry. Finish your question.
do you, we talked with Sim earlier. Shout out to Sim about Mark Williams. I brought up the question of do you take Williams over Durant? Um, but then another question: do you look at a big in the first round, or do you see what's available in the second and in free agency? Um, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I was actually reading an article on that. I forgot who wrote it, but I kind of agree with him. It's not that it's a mistake to take someone in the first round, a big in the first round. It's just that you can get that in the second round, maybe at a little lower level, though. At a little lower level, you can get that in the second round, or you can get that in free agency. You can get that sometimes with the vet minimum. So it really depends on the skill level of this big. So Doran and Mark Williams are both they're not stretch fives, right? They're both rim running fives at this point. I think they do
Hmm.
have the potential to shoot a little,
Especially
um,
Durant.
right down the line. But do you want to pass on a wing, given where the NBA is right now, when you can get a rim running center in the second round in free agency? For me, I wouldn't do it unless that player is just head and tails, like a
Hmm.
Mobley.
Hmm. And
So for me, I wouldn't do it.
that's exactly. Shout out to Harlem Girl.
Shout
Appreciate
out
you
to Harlem
joining.
Girl. Mhm.
Haven't seen you on here in a while, but shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. Um, Keith Turner as well. Everybody in the chat. Um, yeah, I agree. I think I'd much rather take the chance of finding the big in the second or free agency as opposed to reaching possibly for a big in the first with so many talented wings. In that early and mid part of the first round. If we
Right.
had a late second, maybe I changed my consideration. And then at the same time, I think if you're grabbing a guy in a second,
Hmm.
you could go based off potential a little bit more
Hmm.
than just immediate fit or immediate need.
Right.
Um, and then obviously you definitely consider best player available at that po- portion. But I think when you get into that mid second round, I think all that best player, I think everybody's in the same kind of
Right.
category at that point. I don't think most people outshine the other. But yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy Soto. I really like the potential. I like what it could bring a different dynamic to the team.
Hmm.
Got super excited when I seen the Knicks working them out, and it just goes to show that this front office is really doing their due diligence.
Hmm.
I think I think I've heard about the Knicks interested in working out more players this offseason than the past two, which is kind of interesting as well. So I think
Yeah,
they're really looking around.
I think they're. Yeah, you make a good point. I've said the same thing. I think they're casting a wide net, and I think they just want to be, in my opinion, ready for all options. If an opportunity comes to move up, we've done our work on those players as well. If an
Hmm.
opportunity comes for us to move down, we've done our work on those players. So I think they're casting a wide net. Um, I wouldn't read too much into it. We're stacked at the wing. If you're including Burks and Fournier as well, and they've interviewed Dyson Daniels, who could play the point guard as well. They interviewed Johnny Davis, um, and I'm pretty sure they've interviewed other wing players as well. So they're just casting a wide net so they could be ready for any situation. That's how I'm seeing it. The draft is where you can also trade players. So who knows if they send out more players than they get back? If there's a trade that they like, they can now we're replenishing in the draft. Anything can happen. So I like the way that they're going about it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we need, this was the one area of the front office where you kind of had to give them a good grading as
Hmm.
far as what they've done so far, what we've seen from them. So it's definitely encouraging to see that they're continuing in that path, and it gives you faith in and what
Hmm.
they can continue in the areas that they're good at. They still got a lot to work on though.
Hmm.
Um, we also talked about the recent hires, Tim Hardaway Senior,
Hmm.
and the Nike, the former Nike exec. I'm gonna touch on that real quick. Get your
Hmm.
thoughts on that. We'll start with Tim Hardaway. Me personally, I told Sam in the chat, MBK chat, I don't trust him.
Wow.
I
Wow. You know what?
I mean,
He's a scout,
I
and
mean
he's been
that's
out the league for a minute.
that's my initial reaction. I don't trust him. I hope he's not here to sabotage us. That Knicks Heat rivalry, that it runs thick and it runs deep. He even was quoted. When we drafted his son, you'll never catch him with a Knicks hat on. So,
Hmm.
and this is with your son being drafted. So, you know, but I will say over the years I've seen him as a opposing um whatever position he was in, whether it was scout then, assistant coach, whatever. But I know he was on a bunch of different teams, and he always seemed to have a good relationship with the Knicks
Hmm.
brass or the Knicks former players. So
Hmm.
it wasn't no love loss in that in that rivalry to the later years, and him having to get a job. But what do you think? What were your thoughts?
From what I understand, he was working as a scout well before I think it was announced. I don't have a problem with it. Remember, I don't remember the exact situation, but he was out of the league for a while based on something that he said.
Mm,
And the Knicks gave him a job. So I don't. Miami didn't, or maybe they did, and he turned it. I'm not sure how it went. Um, he's professional. He's professional. He's gonna do his job. I'm sure he's grateful for another opportunity to be back in the league. I have no problem with it.
mm. Sharon, interesting comment. Oh, I think I hit the wrong one. Excuse me, Keith. I'll bring you back up. Sherman says, "I'm sorry. There's no way Kai Soto should not be a first round pick. He's better than Mark Williams, and I'm not sure about his weight." Um, Interesting. And I mean, I still know a little bit about him, but everything that I've seen as far as skill set, I'm really impressed with, especially projected as a second round pick. But like I said, I'm hearing he's moving up. Queen says she hasn't seen him in many draft boards at all, first or second round. So it's gonna be interesting. But like you said, things could change in a week. One good performance, a good combine, a good scrimmage,
Hmm.
and it could open some eyes. Um, off topic, but I miss the days where the top prospects went up against each other. Nobody was kind of sitting out of workouts because they're protecting their draft stock and
Right.
status. I love the days when you used to hear, all right, this top point guard is going up against this top point guard, and knowing that they both are taking a chance of their draft stock move it up a little bit or move it
Hmm.
down a little bit. But that was the competitive nature. You kind of knew who was the real alphas out there by the few instances back in the day where people skipped workouts,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
you hear these interviews now with some of the older guys, and they'll be like, yeah, he ducked me, he ducked me, he ducked me, he ducked me. And
Right.
I gotta give props to this guy, this guy, this guy, because like me, they went to every workout, didn't care who was in the workout with them.
Right.
Nowadays everybody's trying to protect their brand, their own stock. Um, it is a kind of weak thing for me personally. I miss the good old days.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
some of the draft prospects didn't even interview. Some didn't measure, some didn't interview. Obviously some didn't play.
Let me ask you this: at what point do those things become a red flag, or do those things, instead of protecting your stock, maybe bring your stock down a little bit?
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I'm sure the NBA guys or the scouts and everything, they can get measurements and things even if you don't do it at the combine.
Hmm.
But there's got to be a reason for these guys selectively choosing what they're going to be involved in and what they're not. And me personally, again, old school, I don't like it. I don't like
Right.
it.
Right.
Don't hide something from your potential draft team,
Yeah. I mean,
or
I
could
think go ahead.
could they be protecting themselves from where they want to go and where they don't? So, like some guys won't work out for a team that they don't want to play for,
Hmm.
and hope that deters them from picking them, and it has nothing to do with their own personal stats or abilities or things of that nature.
I mean, I think that could be part of it, but the flip side of that also is any little thing in this world of social media and how you're being critiqued so heavily can drop your stock. You have a bad interview, you have a bad workout, um, it can drop your stock. And so a lot of the agents who are aware of this are, recommending that they stay away from workouts or stay away from an interview or stay away from them because it's just gonna from, whatever it is, because it's gonna hurt you more than it helps.
And Cole,
Hmm.
I appreciate you joining. I do not have a video of the workout. I'm still learning, man. I'm trying to work on these videos. I'll figure it out soon, but I hope you stay. I appreciate you stopping it. Um, Matter of fact, I'll tell you what I will do though. I'm gonna put the link up in the chat. If you got some insight on them, join it. Join it. I'll give you a good 5 minutes to stake your case. Maybe give us some more info that we don't have. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat, and open invitation for all. We're gonna
Okay.
keep it brief and keep them going, but yeah. But I do appreciate you tuning in. Um, I'm assuming that you are of Philippine descent, and you're a fan. So, um, yeah, I like him. And then he does have another comment up here. Uh, 230, 232 at 7'3". Uh,
I like
Light
it.
no poop. You see Giannis in 2015 or Porzingis, he's only 20. He'll bulk up. I agree. I agree. And I think he'll be on the perimeter a lot more than
Mhm.
in the paint. So he'll have time to play and bulk up. So I definitely agree. First things first, sign and trade Mitch. All else falls into place. Um, sign and trade. Don't lose them for nothing. But yeah, I do want Mitch back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
And
what else.
if money is not a concern, like if money is concerned, I can see the Knicks saying, "All right, let's get Mark Williams, let's get Doran. We think that he'll be a cheaper version of Mitch in a few years." But at some point, you're still gonna have to pay him. At some
And,
point, you're gonna have to pay somebody,
and I
down
think
the line.
even with these guys, if we take a Mark Williams or a Durant in the first round, yeah, we'll have a short pay cut for 3-4 years. But if they, like you're saying, not only will we have to pay him down the line, but what we're gonna have to pay him will end up being more than what we got to pay Mitch right now.
Mhm.
At least in the extension aspect. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
If they reach unrestricted free agent, see that changes things.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Cam Reddish, I was reading an article where it was saying that he was on the list of 5 players projected to make the biggest leaps
That would be
next
great.
season. That would be phenomenal. I know you talked about it briefly on one of your shows. As far as like what players need to work on
Hmm.
to kind of take that next step. Um, if you want to reiterate a little bit and talk about Cam, I think we both agreed that he probably has the most upside um as far as like the young guys on the team right now. Um,
Yeah, he
also
does. Okay.
also also could end up not reaching it, but
Right. Right. He has the most upside and a high chance. I want to say a high chance, but a good chance of not reaching it.
yeah,
I don't think Barrett's upside is as high, but I think whatever Barrett's ceiling is, I think he has a better chance of reaching it than Cam, if that makes sense.
it makes sense to me. I understand exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying. What do you play off of exactly what you said?
Hmm.
What do you think his chances are of just being level? You know what I mean? Not necessarily reaching his ceiling, but kind of somewhere in the middle. Or what would you say his floor is if he stays at his floor? What do you think type of player do you see
But
him
that's
as?
the issue. We talk a lot about guys reaching their ceilings, but how about raising your floor?
Raising the floor
How about raising the floor? You know, um, first or on the way,
on the way.
or at least on the way where that you know he's gotten to the point where we know this is what we can what we can count on. I think if he raises his floor to the point where he's a two-way player,
3 and D.
a 3 and D, that would be perfect. Now, again, he could still on his way to reaching his ceiling, but if his floor is that where that he's going to defend, on and off the ball, use his length, use his wingspan, rebound, and hit the 3-point shot at a good clip. There was a lot of improvement. I believe in his second year, he shot somewhere in the 20s from the 3-point line. And I think last year he got it up to 34%. So I'm anxious to see if that improves as well. But this is the question I have. And the answer is no for me. Do you get discouraged when it's taking guys a little longer? Not discouraged. That's a strong word. Do you feel like the longer it takes a guy to improve, the that
The less
diminishes their chances of reaching their ceiling?
I don't personally,
Mhm.
but it's part of it is embedded in me because of how long I've watched the game,
Mhm.
and so I've gone through so many different eras of basketball. Maybe me
Mhm.
being a little bit older, I'm not accustomed to rookies being as good as some of the younger rookies that we've seen, you know,
Mhm.
as of late. You know what I mean? Starting with the LeBron era of this guy was anointed prior to being in the league, came in and lived up to the hype from day one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like to me, that's still an anomaly. That's not the normal. Like some people expect rookies to come in and kind of make their mark from the jump.
Mhm.
I don't think I think it can happen.
Mhm.
I think it's rare. I think it's a rare occurrence. So, for the most part, I'm willing to wait on a guy. I'm one of the people that I don't blame the number one pick for taking some time to be a number one player on the team. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I'm not expecting. First of all, it's never the player's fault that he got drafted number one, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
like, like even if he advocated for it and said, "I'm the best guy in the draft,"
Mhm.
it's up to that team to believe that. You know what I mean? And they should not believe it because the guy said it. They should believe it based off of their own metric system or whatever they use to evaluate players. So it's hard for me to call guys bust. It's hard for me to say guys um will never be who their projected player or comp was. I give guys time. I mean, we've seen guys leave the league completely and come back and be better players. Do a year or two overseas. Or we see guys who didn't get drafted go overseas and then come back and make a mark in the league. So sometimes it takes some time. I am not one of those. I think you muted. Yep, you muted.
It does take time, but I do think that when you get in, there's a certain. It would be interesting to see what's the stats of somebody popping in their fifth, sixth, seventh year. Like at some point, you know, the player is who he's going to be, and I don't agree that 3 years is it. But at some point, it just gets to the point where you know what, I think this is who this guy is. And we not argue, but go back and forth with Randall as well. You know, he's been in the league 8 years. I think this is who he's going to be. And then there's some who says, but this is his first time in this particular role. I think that he can develop some.
I'm one of those, and until he proves me otherwise, I'm a stand on it.
Okay.
We got our first guest in the building, the closer, Mr. J-Boogie himself.
Hello there, sir.
Appreciate
Hey,
you joining.
I feel like J.J. Evans coming in with my little brother and little sister, Michael and Selby. This is good times right here. What's happening with y'all?
Nah, we good. Always a pleasure.
Man,
Likewise.
hope y'all have a great Monday, man. Man, we had a storm going on out here, and it kind of like did some
Wow.
damage out here. So, things is back to normal right now. So, shout out to the great chat and everything. Everybody rocking that orange and blue. See everybody coming up with their own ideas, what they like. You know what I'm saying? All that is good. All that is good. And trust and believe, they're listening to some of these podcasts. So, don't be surprised when some of your things get picked up, like my man TC, his thing got picked up, you know what I'm saying? Or what he was talking about earlier that he brought it for. Yeah, that man needs some more button ups and a briefcase. Get Tim Hardaway out the way. Yo,
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm.
man.
I don't care if he get picked up or not, but it's definitely exciting for me to have some insight on the guy early and then see like, oh, the Knicks at least look in that direction. You know what I mean? It makes me
Right,
feel like my basketball brain is not washed. You know, you know.
right, man. Real quick, man. Um, I'm one of the guys that like Mark Williams. Me and little Mark, my little brother Mark, we on the same page. So I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a Mark Williams guy. When we get there, if something is not there that we like, that's high
Mhm.
up on our board, don't reach for nothing.
Right. I'm with you
Don't
on that.
reach, don't reach for nothing. Don't try to stretch. It's a
Mm.
stretch five. Don't try to stretch draft. Don't do that. And please don't
I
use
agree.
nothing that's going on with that 23 next year. Don't use nothing with that
Hmm.
unless you're going to get a major player somewhere. So um I like Mark Williams. I like that boy Daniels. And he got a big advantage over a lot of people. All y'all guys are sitting on the side of that combine and knowing your game ain't really, 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 really like that, but you're taking advantage because it's a weak draft. Because a lot of y'all wouldn't even be in the top lottery. You know what I'm saying? Maybe only 4 of these guys in this whole lottery would be in the lottery if it was next year. So a lot of y'all guys is taking advantage and sitting on that sideline and scared to come out there and play against somebody like a Bones Holland from last year that's hungry and trying to move up his stats. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Daniels can do that because when y'all was playing college, Daniel was over here playing against these guys in the G League, old men trying to get back in the league, men trying to get in the league, you know what I'm saying, all over the place. So he has he can do what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And trust, his stock is going to be in the top 10.
Mm.
Also,
Wow.
should we draft
He's my
somebody?
he's my number one prospect, by the way. Like
Who's that?
me personal. Daniels. We're gonna talk
Yeah,
about him on Queen's
Yeah.
Court.
Yeah.
CeeLo.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah,
But
CeeLo.
that's my favorite guy right now.
I call him CeeLo, Mr. 456, aka the dice roller. Yeah, he dice rolling right now. Uh, I really like Mark Williams because there's so much that he can do. You know what I'm saying? So much that he can do. You're talking about he's not just a rim runner. He can recover off his mistakes or your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? he can also catch bad passes and take them and turn them into a bucket. You know what I'm saying? When guards throw the ball low down their feet and all that there. It's just so many things that he can do, and he's athletic and he's 7'1", and he's kind of like a young 8 foot and in Rasheed Wallace, real young. Remind me of him when he came to Carolina. And that's my man. Rasheed is my man. He's real tight with my first cousin. But the guy has so much potential, you know what I'm saying, to really prosper in this league. I like him better than that big man over there in Atlanta. Oh. And he does good. He does good protecting the rim and recovering, rebounding, running the floor. But he's not just a lob threat. He shoots above 70% at the line, so that means you can keep him on the floor. When the game is tight, he can go there and knock down free throws. And
that's the difference between him and Mitch. Somebody just mentioned.
Right. He also know and understand his role. Mm-hmm. I ain't got to be the number one guy, but that don't mean I ain't gonna give you a number one effort. At Duke, he was not the number one guy, but he gave you a number one effort. You know what I'm saying? I like that much about him. Another thing, I just don't go running after somebody that doesn't fit Tom. I like Dice. I mean not Dice. I like Davis' game. I like his game, but I don't like the fit of his game with Tom's system. Everybody talk about he's this type guy because he could play a little defense. But that guy's more of a San Antonio Spurs type guy. A type offense where you're going to pass the ball 4, 5, 6, 7 times. We're not going to do that. What Golden State do and what San Antonio do, and that's what makes Popovich so special. He go gets guys that ain't all that great, but it be great in his system, and it shows that's how he picked for his system. This year, Leon, World, Tom, y'all got to be on the same page when you make this pick. You know what I'm saying? Now, if Tom is going to be our coach and finish out his contract, you need to pick what's best for him. So, he can play his type guys. You know what I'm saying? There's so many options, so many different ways we can go, but just don't mess with that 23. And then, like, I'm with you, Tony. I'm not a part of that Tim Hardaway thing. I was on record saying Saturday, we could have kept this thing in-house. You know what I'm saying? I could have went and knocked on Rod Strickland's door, and he could have went and done what this is doing. I keep this in-house as trying to go get somebody, like you said, that already said he's not going to wear a Knicks hat. You're going to put it on now because you're on the contract. Put it on. You know what I'm saying? All y'all talking about with your beards and everything. You don't want to play for the Yankees because they're going to shave. No, you're going to shave now. You're going to shave that hair off your face. You know what I'm saying? You play for the Yankees. But, yeah, man, I think we could have just, because there's a lot of people in New York and from New York, commentators and all, they don't like the situation on how we be getting dogged out. Someone like King Smith, they don't even like answering the questions, you know what I'm saying? Because it's disrespectful. And I want us to get right back on that map so bad. So you got guys like Gundy and these Reggie Millers and all that. Come on, man. Stop. We ain't even in the plan. What are you doing talking about us? Telling people don't come here. And all. What are you talking about? We're not even in. So that's how I know that we are so beautifully on people's mind when we're not even in the play-ins, nowhere near the playoffs, no nothing. And they're still talking about us, man. Still talking about us. What is it about us, man? You know what I'm saying? That orange and blue that y'all love or something or whatever. But yeah, man, so many ways we can go with this draft. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm curious, I'm scared, everything. And like Sim said, if free agency was before the draft, then we'll know what we got going on with Mitch.
Yeah,
but the thing is, Mitch, let us know, Mitch. If you want to leave, let us know early. Because one thing for sure, if you leave, you're leaving for some money. But we can get you the most money. You can go sign for that 4. But here we can sign you for that 5. But we can sign and trade you for that 5 year. So talk to us. Don't just go out there and do a dummy move, you know what I'm saying? Thinking about the video games and all that, you know what I'm saying? Make a smart decision. We got 5 years over here that we can sign and trade you for. Don't just run and go get the 4. Get your 5 years worth of money.
That's right.
One year.
Get it all.
Get it all.
I don't even know if it's Mitch. I think it's the Knicks. I think it's the Knicks who are hedging their bets and trying to not bet against themselves and see what he can get out in free agency or something
Mhm.
of that sort.
But
Um,
you
but you
gotta
never
trust that
know.
you
Go
gotta
ahead.
trust that he's gonna bring that back to you.
You
Right.
got to trust that he's going
You
to bring
gotta
it back.
and say, hey, this is what I got. Will y'all match? You know,
Right.
he when you tell a guy go field me an offer or go see what's out there for you, that don't they're not necessarily coming back. Now, J-Boogie makes the great point. You want that fifth year though.
Hmm.
It may not be the 13 or whatever. It may be 10 from somebody else, and the Knicks not willing to match. But we might give you 5 for 50 on a signing trade as opposed to 4 for 40.
Yeah.
So I agree. I agree. Um, I love what you said about Hardaway as well. I was just joking though. I'm like I said, I've seen him at enough Knicks games over the years. As he was working for the opposing team and his rapport with, like, I was mad at Houston and other Knicks guys for like,
Mhm.
yo, why you so buddy with the ops right now? You know what I mean? But obviously it's a mutual respect, and he's let it go. So I'm willing to let it go as a fan, But I want to know every single pick or prospect that he had his hands in or his
Mhm.
opinion on, just so I could critique it and make sure that he is doing a real job and not no sabotage moves.
That's right. And are you going to be working with them guards? Are you going to be working with quickly? I need all that to be done. Don't just be going flown all over the world, this place and that place, the shop and look here. What are you going? Are you going to be assistant coach? Are you going to be on that bench? What else you got going on? There's something they're not telling. I don't want him just to be a guard scout.
And that was a great thing you brought up, Rod Strickland, because he would do that. Like
Yeah.
he'll work with a non-Nick on the basketball court in the Bronx.
Hmm.
So you can't tell me he ain't gonna sit down with Quickly and Deuce and other
Right.
guards and work with them. I don't know if Hardaway would do that at this point, and
Hmm.
it may just be like, um he may speak to them verbally.
Right.
Rod Strickland will be on the court, like, with
Yeah.
you, showing
Right.
you the move, showing you the spin, showing you everything. I think Hardaway's a little bit more removed from that, even
Right.
though
But
he
that's
was
his
in the
role, though. His role is scout.
yeah, scouting. I'm saying taking it further and kind of giving pointers to the
They would
guys
have to allow him to do that, though.
on the court. Um, I don't see it being a issue though. I mean, why would you not allow it?
Right.
Listen, but that was the same thing with what's his name? The commentator. Oh
Clyde?
my good. Yeah, that was the same thing. He said
But
no one ever,
but
you know.
But I think what Clyde says is no player has ever come to him. He'd do it in a heartbeat. I don't think it's the organization saying no. Now the organization obviously never came to him either. But when Clyde said that, he wasn't talking about the organization. He was talking about the individual players. Through
Right.
all the years that I've been sitting right here, 41 games a year, not one player has come up to me and said, Clyde, show me some of this, show me some defensive moves, show me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's what he was saying. At least that's what I took from it. I
Yeah.
don't
But
think it
I
was the
think it's hard.
organization.
I think it's hard when you have a coaching staff and you're hired as a scout to come into practice and work with players. I mean, I think that, the coaching staff may have a problem with it. Now, if they invite you in, that's
Mm-hmm.
totally different. They may not even like for you to do it on the side,
Mm.
feeling like you're not part of the staff. You're here to scout, not to, work with players individually. We have players for that because, there's different things, I think you need to shoot your jump shot this way. No, I want you to shoot it this way. I want, like, what are you
Yeah,
working with my players on? Are you changing their mechanics? Is it just drills you're giving them? Like, we have development staff. So I don't know if it's that easy for somebody hired as a scout to just come down and start working with a player, even if they're willing to do it.
and even if they have the claim or cachet, of a player of that nature. I mean,
The
I would
coaching staff would have to be on board as
oh,
also.
absolutely. I mean, yes and no, because I don't think if a player came to Hardaway and said, "Hey, come work with me on this and that," if he's
Right.
willing to do it, I doubt anybody in the coaching staff or organization would be like, "No, no, no, no." You know what I mean? Like,
Or
I,
he may even say, "Let me speak to the coaching staff. I just want to get clearance. I just want to make sure." Now, this is very
or
different than like in
or
the summertime,
or another check. You know, I want to add a hat, add a hat, and get another, another 25K or something
You
added to
said
the.
that right. Another 25K. I'm gonna handle that off top. Soon as you let me know that you're interested in me going to do these type things and go get a guard. Hold up, wait a minute. You know I'm a guard. I want one of the lethal is on guards, short guard, but I know all the angles and everything. Are you gonna allow me to, work with these guards as I'm bringing them in? Because if so, let's get this out the way. Let me. I need a little bit more bread. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all that at the top, off beginning. That tells you, be honest, that tells you that Tim really want to work. That tells you that he's just not trying to get a check. Anybody can go scout for guards. Anybody can do that. But with your name and they call you Mr. UTEP two-step, even though we know you got the crossover for Pearl Washington. So I know. So you know what I'm saying? That's not yours. So and all the people that think he invented that, no, that he
Now
did not invent that crossover.
he added the killer to it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean,
It was just the crossover before Hardaway. You know, it became
hey,
the
hey,
killer crossover.
hey. But see, a lot of people also miss with Pearl's crossover. He also had the in and out. See, a lot of people miss Pearl invented the in and out. Go back and check that Syracuse against Georgetown on Madison Square Garden when Syracuse won the championship when he was in there yelling in the garden, go ahead, clear it out. And he was breaking Michael Jackson's Achilles, breaking the whole press down, Wingate, all of them falling all on the floor. Crossover left, crossover right, in and outs, all that. That's Pearl. But yeah, Tim could have asked for a little bit more money if he was really, really interested in working with these guards and all that. Because now you're part of the family. You accepted that role. You're part of the family, dude. You're part of that.
No doubt, no doubt. Chef NYK says Hardaway has been in all the interviews and workouts, so he's earned his money.
So he will, and yeah.
I hope it continues.
Sounds good. That sounds good. Put them to work. We need all the work we can from my God. Because dudes is not beating besides RJ, and sooner or later it's gonna get more difficult to you unless he adds something. Our guards cannot really beat the man in front of him without a pick. You know what I'm saying? Getting all the way to that rack without that pick or coming off the pick. I mean, just clearing it out. Move out the way. Blah, 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 boom. We need you to be able to do that. You got to be able to do that. That's why wing play is so important, man. Wings is taking over this game in this play. Oh my God.
And that's
J-Boogie.
the perfect segue. Go ahead, tell him, Queen.
No,
What
no,
we talking
no.
about on Queen
No,
Sport?
no, 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 no. I was gonna say, JJ in the chat said he's from Cardoza High School. He just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, that's my man. For a lot of people don't know. I ain't gonna put everything out there, but Skip on my loop come up under my deodorant. That meaning my armpit. I am one of Ron Niclario's knuckleheads. If you see Niclario right now, he'll tell you J-Boogie is my biggest dummy because he has so much potential to go somewhere, but he chooses to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Along with my brother Kevin Scott, may he rest in peace. Along with my other brother Kevin Story, may he rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Just choosing to do the wrong thing in life will hinder you from what you're God's gift for and what you're supposed to have to do if you choose to do the wrong thing. Yeah, JJ's my brother, that orange and blue. We Cardoza family.
There you go. But yeah, definitely on the Queen's Court, we're gonna go over the 4 prospects I believe the Knicks should be targeting at the 11th pick, and then whoever else the panelists want to add. So we'll be talking about AJ Griffin, Johnny Davis, Mathurin, Benedict Mathurin,
And
and
my guy.
Daniel Dyson. And Abaji is gonna come up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. How do you pronounce it? Is it Branham? Branham?
Who's that? The guy from Bill?
Branham out of Ohio
All right.
Ohio State.
No. Yes.
ran him out of Ohio State. He may come up. I know y'all talked about him on MBK um, earlier. So this is going to be interesting because we're crowded at the wing position, and the
Mhm.
Knicks are interviewing and looking at other wings. So I don't know. Are they doing their due diligence, or does that tell us something about what they think of the wings we have on the roster right now? Hard to say.
Woo. Okay, Queen. Also, call him
But
out.
Dyson Daniels. I meant Dyson Daniels.
you
What I
see,
say, Daniel Dyson? Yeah,
you see,
chat be
man.
on it. Yeah, chat trolling.
Oh, but another great episode, J-Boog. You know, always welcome. You always jump in when the chat is a little nervous to get on here. I appreciate you joining the panel,
Definitely.
Queen. Let you get ready for Queen's
Yep.
Court.
Yep.
I'll be there, in a few minutes. And the chat, as always, I appreciate you guys. There's no show without you guys. Shout out to you and your
Appreciate you,
blackest
J-Bug.
time. Oh, wait. I got one more thing to say before I get out of here.
The second annual NBK draft party in Atlantic City. There'll be a live podcast, live DJ, live video shoot. $40 for a VIP ticket, $30 for draft night only. Get your tickets now.
That's right. Get them tickets. You got
Hey,
30
Sim,
days.
and tell Sim stop playing. Act like he don't want me to be a part of that flyer. Come in there, tear it down. I got a lot of heat now. Especially he playing games, bro. He playing games.
You know you welcome, man. You know you
I know
welcome.
that. I know that.
Come on down. Be a part of the MBK video shoot for the intro. You know what I mean? We got a bunch of things going on. I'm excited. It's time is flying. It's 30 days away. Like I said before, that's also my daughter's birthday, so it's gonna be a busy day for me. But
Hey,
yeah,
one
we're
more thing
gonna
before I
do it
go
big.
to.
What up?
Shout out to my Rangers. I was at game 2 here in Carolina. They put that work in yesterday, you know what I'm saying, to let me know. I'll be back. I'll be back for game 5. But I hope when they come back to Carolina, it'll be tied up at 2-2. I rock with the Rangers. If you ain't ever seen a hockey game in your life, oh my God. You talking about a whole imagine.
That's the one.
Imagine
That's the one sport I don't watch, but I will go to a game live. It's totally different.
totally
I've been to about 4 games live, and I've never watched hockey on TV in my life.
totally different, man. You enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. But God bless you, man. Thanks for always having me on, my brother.
Appreciate you. Always,
No,
man. Always welcome. And
no doubt.
see you Wednesday. I'm back Wednesday.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. Y'all have a great evening.
Salute.